The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. In Dallas at SEC Media Days, Jacksonville native and Georgia quarterback Carson Beck met with the media on how he knew he would return to the Bulldogs for another season after their loss to Alabama.
The reason for staying, but more about like the hardest part of me leaving, would be leaving the locker room that we have and leaving the teammates and the connection that, you know, we've all built. That's probably the hardest part because it's a lot different once you go to the next level. It's not like college, and talking to guys that have been through it, that, I mean, there's so many different guys that you can conversate with, and they're all just like enjoy it like while you're here because it's different once you get up there. And then obviously the way the season ended last year, everybody always asks me like how difficult of a decision was it, and I tell them it was easy. But the second that we lost to Alabama, I knew that I was coming back.
It's 93 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Barra, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Gators, Bulldogs, and every SEC team. It's SEC Media Days. Presented by Window World of Northeast Florida and Kanaya Water Jacksonville on 1010XL.
All right, it's XL Primetime live from Dallas. Matt Hayes, Frank Frangie, Joe C. in the All-Pro line, and Leon Searcy back home in the plush, palatial studios of 1010XL. We're now pleased to welcome a XLP friend of the show, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
It's great to be here. There's 2 points of intimidation. One, I'm looking around at all these cameras.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
We're documenting this thing in 16 different ways. There were fewer cameras to check exit velocity of the home run derby baseballs than there are checking me. Yeah. So right, those 2 points.
So before we get into it, okay, I want to give everybody a little explanation of how the sausage is made here. So you introduce the coaches. Every coach comes up. You introduce them and say, okay, this, you know, here's Jeff Levy, and you have like these nice facts and figures that you come up with.
I do.
Now,
I'm looking for what I did with mine.
Right. So my question to you is, I mean, you're clearly the leader of the free amateur sports world. How do you come up with this time to have these facts and figures?
There's 2 parts of it. One is I am provided because our staff goes to the schools and says, can you give us some facts that we can use? And then I'll have a conversation backstage, and you know, I know them. Like I asked Lane, I want to respect your dad. Right. I want to respect you. So tell me about a note that I asked for on just him that I could use, but how do I position it? But leading up to that, I did not ask him permission to talk about. He sends me text pictures with like the biggest fish he caught that off season. Right. He sent me one like random from hot yoga last fall at some point. And I hadn't sent me anything from pickleball. But with Jeff, I had this note about his son, and you want to be respectful of somebody's family. Right. And Kalen was at his daughter's softball tournament the last couple days. And I don't want to say something like that without asking them. So those were in notes. And then there's some other things like Billy and I were talking as he went up, and I was checking on who was coaching with Furman, Bobby Johnson, who we know from his Vanderbilt days. And then I was the Southland Conference Commissioner, 1AA football. I would go to the national championship game, and the light bulb went off that I had seen him quarterback Furman when they played Montana.
How good is that?
In 2001.
Yeah,
so
that's
small world.
So you get all the important notes. Hey, Greg, do you like where we've landed? The world has changed so much in college athletics, and you're a big part of that. To Matt's point, you're probably the leader of it. Do you like where we land? And there's a lot of parts to that question. I know that. But do you like where we are?
I don't think we've landed. Okay. I don't like where we are. So I'm parsing it out. I think we have an opportunity for a direction towards a better destination. which I mean holistically, where the young people involved benefit more, they benefit appropriately, we have protections for them, we have support for them, we still have opportunities for them, so nobody's taking things away. I think to achieve that, we need to make our own decisions around settlement outcomes. We're doing that with plaintiffs' attorneys, so we don't just get to dictate it. There's a court involved, so there's a lot of runway left there, using the metaphor about destination and direction. And then, what other decisions can we make that are well established, don't create legal risk? And then where do we need either state legislative or federal legislative assistance?
I think you made a great point in your State of the Union when you were talking about, look, this is so much more than just one problem. I don't even like to use the word problem because I think it's great that the young guys are getting their ability to earn while playing the game. You're dealing with the conference, you're dealing with universities, you're dealing with the federal government, you're dealing with the courts. You're working the problem on many different levels right now, right?
Right, yeah. There are 5 fields of play, using a football metaphor. Courts, we have to be there. Congress, that's where you can set a national standard. The states, they're deciding either in the attorney general level or at the legislative level to have this patchwork that really doesn't support Final Fours. I mean, if we really play this out, there is no Final Four. I was criticized heavily for talking about automatic bids maybe shifting a little bit, some of the pressures there. I'm not talking about we want March Madness. Well, to have March Madness, you have to have national standards. I think that's just like too evident. We don't want college championships to be state college championships. There is a bit of a history there. That's high school. We don't need to go back to high school. And then the conference has a role to play, and I think perhaps with our states, if we can define the nature of our desires, and then the NCAA still exists, and it's a big organization that has to change. So that's the scope of kind of those are the playing fields.
Just
now, the pieces on the playing field are a whole different set of issues.
Right. Greg Sankey with us, the SEC Commissioner, Frank Frangie. Matt Hayes with you. As for your league, you were asked enough times about recruiting other teams. I appreciate your position on that. We've done that enough. But as for the 16 you've got, you stayed in the contiguous states, which was a big deal to you. You've said it many times. You've got blue bloods upon blue bloods. Do you like where it landed as you get set for the 2024 SEC season?
Absolutely, I do. We're in decision-making control. You don't control everything, but we have the ability as a league of 16 to make decisions about our future and not be reacting to everyone around us. And given your geographic location, it's fine to ask me. I gave the folks in Columbia, South Carolina, because it's also a local story. I'm not out recruiting. I'm not on the phone talking to people about going beyond 16 is a really healthy number, but not just a healthy number. It's a healthy organization with peer institutions and peer athletic programs, and just shooting for a number, I don't think that's a well-informed approach. There are 2 directives from our presidents to me. One is you do not entangle us in litigation around expansion, period. I can't be any more clear than that. You obviously have litigation around members saying, wait a second, I agreed to things and we voted on things, but I don't like that. And that's my unsophisticated commentary, and the courts will determine where that heads. The second thing they've said is don't spend my money to add members, which means you have to accrue value from expansion, and we've done that going from 14 to 16. Those are 2 quite clear directives that are front and center for me as we consider things. And I have to be aware of what's happening. I'm not going to be inattentive, but I'm not looking to be the pot stirrer right now.
And that's and I know everybody laughs when I say this. That this situation right now is so created by the vacuum, the black hole of social media, that everybody's saying, well, it's a foregone conclusion that this team's going here and that team's going there and this team. There's so much more involved. Like, you guys literally adding these 2 teams over the last, I don't know how many, like 2.5 years you guys have been doing this.
3, yeah.
3. Like, it's been a arduous process, has it not?
It has. Now it is a long runway. So we had at A&M, it was basically a little under 12 months from entry announcement to actual entry. Missouri was 10 months, and that was a compressed time frame. We've been as thorough as can be, but there's a lot to the movement, and I don't think that's understood or appreciated. It's not just scheduling; it's contractual adjustments. It's our rules, our regulations of how games are conducted are going to vary. And you know, I've been on Twitter for 12, 13, 14 years before I was commissioner. I never saw the for you and following. So I always had my following, what I followed. And like a month ago,
don't do it, man. Right. Don't click on
go back to the followers. Go back to the followers.
Like click over to for you. Yeah. Like that's a frightening place.
It is.
What's the scariest place I've ever been?
It's the third dimension.
For you column.
Go back to the right.
On X. I mean, like the stuff that's in there about us. Forget what happened over the weekend.
Yeah. Yes.
But like I'll look and like. Well, these 6 schools are moving here, and those.
Well, everybody's an expert. That's the problem.
And
right?
I'm like, I'm reading it, and I know who's not calling, right? And I know why some of those scenarios aren't realistic. So stay on the following side.
Yeah, you say right. But I want to, as an observer, not someone in the fray, are you surprised at the free-for-all that followed? I mean, all of it. I mean, SMU and Cal and Stanford and FSU and Clemson suing. And did that free-for-all surprise you at all?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Why did it happen?
Why?
Why did it happen? Yeah, why did it surprise you?
You're not going to get away with just yes.
Yeah,
Come on, why?
When depending on what you read on the in the For You section, this is all my fault.
Okay, yeah.
Or it's not all my fault. Depending, if you go to the following section, it's generally not my fault.
Right.
You go to the floor, it's all my fault because we took text and all my. Let's look back. I was not surprised that movement happened in the mid-2020s. I thought 22, 23. Looking forward to TV contract expiration, and I didn't want to be in that circumstance. I wanted us to have some certainty around what we were doing. I also knew some of our existing agreements and how we had to position ourselves best, and that's a whole other like master's level course in negotiating, I think. And I may be criticized for it down the road, but you can deal with what's on the table. Right. So that said, when in 2015, I said to our presidents and chancellors, I think the Big 12 will be the first to have a problem. And you think about, well, why does conference movement happen? And I think this is a really important lesson. And I don't know if I'm talking through a break.
No,
when I was here and I was a 1AA commissioner, they moved because of media and TV. That's what I thought. They moved because of politics. That's the second reason. They moved because of geography. Conference expanded because of need. Like you see that in some of the smaller conferences. They go to the Metro Atlantic Conference and somebody adds a bunch of Division IIs. In relationships was the fifth. I actually think there's another reason now that I'm here. And so I'll come back to you. Was I surprised? I think institutions look around the room and say, oh, wait a second. This doesn't look like us as much anymore. And when A&M left, and when Missouri left, and when Nebraska left, and when Colorado left before they came back, I think Oklahoma and Texas, and this is what I said to presidents in 2015, here's the demographics, here's the time when these contracts come up, but one of the realities is they're going to look around and say, we really don't have the same peers. We have these relationships. Right. And I don't mean to diminish anyone, but when you're sitting there in Austin and you're at, 50-plus thousand students with what they do, and you look around and say, well, there's Florida, and there's Georgia, and there's Texas A&M, and there's the University of Alabama, and there's Vanderbilt. That's who we are. Right. I think that has gone on in the last 3 years and is still going on, that same kind of view. So back to your question. My president said, you're creating an existential threat for the Big 12. Can you explain to us how that group exists and it doesn't implode for everyone? And I went 3 for 4 on who I predicted they would add. I didn't see the BYU situation playing out just because they had been through that. Sure. But they're at 12, so they were fine.
Really? You predicted UCF and Houston and Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I was 3 or 4. Wow. I won't tell you the other one because I was wrong.
Okay.
But
might have been USF. I'm trying to think who he might have had.
750 will put you in the Hall of Fame.
He probably had Memphis, is what he probably
put you in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And so I could come back and say, well, I think this is the next move on the chessboard. And then I've been asked, well, what's next after that? I had been told and had a little bit of outreach on the West Coast that the discontent there was real. And this was in 21, and it grew a little bit greater in 22. So you could see some of that. But then, could I anticipate that Stanford and Cal were going to be in the Atlantic Coast Conference? No. And really not until the Pac-12 commissioner, the former Pac-12 commissioner, was on camera at a SMU game, was I thinking that somebody was thinking there. And we talked through what was rumored to be moved, and one of our presidents, the chancellor, said, look, we know who we are. Our fans know who we are. The level of interest and competitive opportunity and support we have is without compare. Why would we go out there? Why would that make sense for us? And it was a 5-minute conversation.
Quick, huh?
Yeah, but I think you go back and my diagnosis about why people make these decisions, you could argue he's way off base.
No, I think you're pretty close.
But
actually.
I went through those 5, and then it dawns on me. People look around and say, "Well, this really isn't. This isn't us in a way." And the tough part is people make commitments. There are contracts, and like I said, our president said, "You're not going to entangle us in litigation." That's abundantly clear.
But that also goes to what you told me this for now probably 2 or 3 years. You said you and the presidents, your pie in the sky world is everything to be what it was. Like the Pac-12 is still alive. Yeah. Everybody's happy.
I wrote a note. It was Destin last year, a memo that said, I'd love everybody to stay where they is. Now, that's convenient for me. We took Texas to Oklahoma,
yeah,
so
right.
we're advantaged. But I still don't feel threatened by anybody else. I mean, the Big Ten made some moves. That's great. We're still the SEC, for goodness sake.
So the point I wanted to make, and I don't want to belabor the point, this is the last thing we're talking about, is does part of you feel bad for Wazoo and Oregon State that they're in the dust?
I reached out. I had an incorrect phone number for Scott Barnes early August, so started to rumble on my birthday on a Thursday. I was at a conference on Friday. It happened. I got phone calls, and on Saturday I reached out to Pat Chun, who was at Washington State at the time, and I had an old phone number for Scott to say, look, I don't have anything to offer, but I feel bad that I called Bernard Muir. I still don't have the athletic director at Cal phone number, but yeah, I would not have. I didn't see it needed to go that direction. I understand why it did,
right?
But I don't look back at our move as the tipping point. I think there was more. There's a more informed perspective. And I'll go back. You were talking about old conversations. May of 2020, you were posting me up about could you make a decision different from everybody else about playing or not playing.
Right.
And I was trying to soft pedal it. But I've always thought about that question, and my answer is people say, well, there should be a czar. Right? It should be one person to run it.
Right.
Can you imagine that circumstance again where there's like one person trying to navigate all of these communities and campuses?
No, because you were that person, and you would have posted up and said, we're doing it.
Yeah, but then, how do you move people to that? So you could do that in a small way. And then you look at everything that's happened since. And, people keep bringing it up. But just, you're going to have to cede total authority for decision-making away from your campus. And,
right.
Perhaps people are ready for that part of the modern era, but I haven't sensed it at this
That would also mean ceding the media rights, which
that's a whole other
never going to do, right?
litigious issue.
Right.
Yeah. Greg, final question. 12 playoff teams. We know now how they're going to be picked. Those of us that cover this league wouldn't be bothered if there were 4 or 5, however many teams in it. How should
7. That's the max.
How should that play out? It should be the best. It should be the automatics and the best, right?
Yeah.
Will it be that way?
That's a clear expectation. So we do have selection criteria. You want to know how the evaluation is conducted. And, the rigor of our schedule, particularly at 16, even with 8 games, is substantial. So you take Georgia, just because it's easy to remember. Within the league, they play at Ole Miss, finished with a win over Penn State, had 2 losses last year to Georgia and to Alabama. They play at Alabama, and they play at Texas. This is Georgia.
Right.
I mean, who's got 3 games like that on their schedule?
Yeah.
And they play Florida, too. Yeah. Don't forget that.
No, that's where I'm going, the neutral site. But I'm going to away.
Yeah.
And then they open with Clemson. Right. They finish with Georgia Tech. And there's a lot in between. How are you evaluating that against other schedules? Yeah. That could be think last year. That was one of the 4 best teams, period.
And there's no question.
There's people in your listening audience who say, well, there it goes again.
Yeah.
We didn't stomp our feet. We didn't, fly banners over places. That was one of the 4 best teams. They lost 1 game in 2 years. Bad second half, second quarter, third quarter. And in the future, If they're 9-3 compared to a 10-2 or 11-1, the standard is not 10-2 or 11-1 it's the best teams.
Well, that's what. And I know we're going way long on you.
Right, Captain, your wonderful
mad at us, so I'm
assistant's
going to go
getting ready
fast.
to kill
But,
us.
but you're right.
This is your time.
Yeah, but a
This is your time, not my time.
But that 9-3 Georgia team, if we all clearly think they're better than 11-1 North Carolina, who doesn't win that league, they should be in ahead of them. But there's going to be consternation.
Oh yeah,
that's we all know that. Right?
You know, that's where people say, "Well, you're ruining the regular season." Are you kidding me?
It's even better now.
Yeah. That was my theory, hypothesis, if you will, about the 12-team playoff. Is it enhances? So when you break it down, you have to understand it's not the 12 best teams.
Right.
It's the 5 best conference champions. 4 of them get a bye and know where they are. Then you've got a 5th that gets seeded, and then you've got the 7 remaining best teams.
Right.
That's the expectation. So you may be ranked 12th and not in because a 16th ranked conference champion's in. That's the deal. That's more access for better teams. And that 5th spot may be among 5 conferences that may have 3 or 4 teams November 1st vying for a conference championship and opportunity. There's 20 teams that are in. And then the top 20 has the ability to access those remaining spots, arguably.
Yeah.
In the past, if you weren't in the top 10 November 1,
forget it.
You know, you're not playing for the championship, and we value those things so much.
All right, we could talk to you for the next 40 minutes, but Catherine's going to come over top.
We're going to get in trouble.
How much time do we have?
So go do what you got to do.
He
wants to stay here. Come on.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
We're good.
We're
good?
Yeah, 5
All right,
minutes.
good. All right, good. So, because I want to ask you this. Thank you, Catherine. So we talked about this as well, too. The playoff's going to change in 26. Could move more teams. You have said all along your preference is all at large.
Oh, I'm leaving. I'm done.
Is there a way?
I hope we have video of his face when I said that.
Is there a way you can get there or no? All at
I don't
large.
think we need to. Oh, that part. So let's put beyond 12 to the side. That's where it rightly is.
Right.
I've always been fine with the blank best teams. 8, 4.
Right.
5.5, whatever the number. 12 was a compromise of perspectives. And one of my concerns is with the conference movement that we've had, this is real. And we saw it last year where the last team in the New Year's Six, who would have been that 5th best conference champion, was barely in the top 25. Barely in the top 25.
Yeah, 11 of the 12
Liberty
teams.
and SMU both lost their bowl games.
Right.
And I think there will be pressure if the 5th best conference champion remains barely in the top 25 or possibly outside the top 25, replacing the 12th ranked team. That will become a problem over time. Not because I say it's a problem. It's going to give you guys on radio fodder.
Of course.
And when I go to the For You section, it's going to flare up, and then they're going to follow. Man. They're going to get me on the following section.
Yeah. So do you think you could eliminate AQs or no? I know that's your preference,
now.
But you know.
Well, there's no AQs. It's could you walk away from conference champion?
Right.
Or could you narrow it? Now, I think politically, and I mean big picture politically, you go back to the pre-BCS era and even the BCS era, you had congressional hearings about access. Well, we haven't had any access-related hearings for the postseason once we went to the CFP. So part of the 5th best conference champion is the recognition that we are in this together, and they have an access point they've never had. But they have, in my view, a responsibility to elevate the competitive situation of the programs consistently.
Your point, too, we're staying away from beyond 12. But when we get to beyond 12, which I believe we will at some point, there's still only so many conferences. So then that problem's not a problem. I mean, then the best teams are all in, right? I mean, I know you don't want to go beyond 12 for now. I hear you.
Well, there's a great book that I had my staff read that they dislike called The Art of Possibility.
Right.
And we should live in the art of possibility. We should practice the art of possibility from time to time. Not all the time, because then you don't get anything done.
Right.
And when you think about, well, is there something different? If we're going to do that, then we should practice the art of possibility.
Yeah. And that'll get everybody in. Greg, thank you, the commissioner of the SEC. You were terrific. I'm sorry we got you in trouble. Thanks for stopping by.
Catherine sat down, crossed her arms, and stared at me, so I was not getting another extension.
Greg, thank you so much.
Man.
We appreciate it very much.
Have fun the rest of the week.
Yep,
thank you, Catherine. All right, he's Greg Sankey, commissioner of the SEC, the king of all things amateur sports right now, actually. Well done, Greg. Well done. It is XLP. Joe C., Leon Searcy, Matt Hayes. Are we going to break now, RJ? Yeah, well, let's go to break. Let's go to break and we'll come back here live from Dallas.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I said a please would be nice.
Mornings
Get it straight, Buster. I'm not here to say please. I'm here to tell you what to do.
on 1010XL.
If my help's not appreciated, lots of luck, gentlemen.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
This is David Lane. After suffering through several painful injuries to my shoulder, back, and knees, I've taken my issues to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and without fail, they've been a tremendous help towards solving my problems. If you have any orthopedic situations, don't procrastinate. Take action today. Give those aches and pains to the pros at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You'll be glad you did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Nick here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
O'Reilly.
Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes Summers here, so let's talk about something sizzling, making a Bacon 180 with a Waken 180. Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying that crisp, savory goodness. Well, it's on the menu at Awaken 180, and one of the many reasons I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180 weight loss. I did it all while still enjoying so many of my favorite foods. The difference is, my coach showed me how to enjoy those foods the right way. Chicken, steak, pork, lobster, they're all on the menu. Awaken 180 caters to any diet or taste profile. Vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, even flexitarian. I'm not kidding. That's a thing. They're all covered. The bottom line, if you want to lose weight fast and safe and keep it off with lifetime coaching, then make your own Bacon 180 with Awaken 180. Do what I did, Mike Dempsey and Hacker, and more than 21,000 others online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we want it, we got to bring it.
My thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW. for Malcolm Anthony.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Hey folks, it's Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. Now you probably heard me mention that errant golf ball that led us to replace our windows. And obviously, if I'm investing in my home's appearance and comfort, I want the best. Well, now my new Pella windows are installed and they look fantastic. And we've already noticed the difference in outside noise reduction and energy savings. So if you need to replace your windows or doors, visit my friends at the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway or check them out online at PellaJacks.com. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
We're going to kick it across the pond over to Scotland Royal Troon. Joe C., Leon Searcy on a golf club of Southampton Wednesday. We'll be heading back to Dallas with Frank and Matt as they chase down Danny Wonderful coming up here in a second. But it's wonderful to say hello to Matt Adams. Matt, how are you?
Good, guys. How you doing, Joe? How you doing, Leon?
Doing great. We're doing great, man, and I appreciate your time. And I know it's a long day based on the change in time, and you'll be doing plenty of play-by-play coming up beginning tomorrow. But let's at least break it down because you know me, Matt. I like to lay a wager down. I know everybody across the pond loves to lay a wager down. As you look at this golf course, who do you like early on as far as getting out to a quick start?
I'll give you some favorites, and then I'll give you a couple of dark horses if it's from the perspective of, good odds, et cetera. Royal Troon is a golf course that generally favors a player that draws the ball. On the other side of that, you're looking at a lefty who hits a fade. So that kind of opens it up in terms of players that you're looking at. By and large, what I look at Royal Troon is a player that is a really solid ball striker and not so much the premium on putting, meaning that I look for players that, for example, are very high up in the total driving stat. Total driving is a stat that includes not only driving distance but also driving accuracy in combination. Look for players that are really good at greens and regulation. Obviously, scrambling is important. And again, to reiterate, because the greens are slower, they're going to roll at about a 10.5. Mm-hmm. It means that if a player tends to get a little balky with the putter, they can kind of hammer it towards the hole, towards their intended line. So if you look at that combination, Colin Morikawa is one that I would look at and say, he's already won an Open amongst his multiple major championships, and he fits that criteria. Aforementioned right-to-left ball flight for right-handed golfer kind of brings Rory McIlroy in there. You can look at Rory and go, whoa, what about the U.S. Open and what happened there? He finished tied for fourth last week. He's still Rory McIlroy. He was, 497 for 497 from 3 feet before the gaff at the U.S. Open. I think Rory needs to come from behind instead of leading because of that, right? He gets a little bit nervous in the moment trying to win for the first time in a long time. So those are a couple. In terms of dark horses along those criteria, I like Chris Kirk. He plays a draw. I like Corey Connors from Canada. He plays a draw. I like the defending champion Brian Harman, who's a lefty that plays a fade. So those are just some thoughts in terms of who the golf course fits.
Now, Matt, could we expect anything out of Tiger this weekend? I mean, he hasn't played particularly well in the majors. I mean, does he have any magic left come this weekend?
Let's say it again. Who was that?
Tiger Woods. Can we expect anything from Tiger this weekend?
I wouldn't. I mean, it's a relatively flat golf course, so it's not going to necessarily burden him as much as a Augusta National would have. He was very serious in his press conference. He spoke a lot about the fact that he's very busy with the negotiations with LIV. He's very busy because his own new league is starting in January, TGL. That was another thing that he referenced specifically. So he said he's just got a lot going on. He said that was the reason why he turned down the offer to be captain of the United States Ryder Cup team. But again, we're talking about a Tiger Woods that still his body is not the same as it ever was. I think he's capable of flashes, but I don't think he's capable of sustaining it. We haven't seen it yet, so there's no reason to alter my view on that one. Love to see it. I think everyone's really excited about it. He's teeing off in the afternoon here tomorrow after 3. I can't remember the exact time because I'm in a restaurant lobby right now, so I don't remember what time he's teeing off. You guys may have it in front of you. And the weather tomorrow afternoon is supposed to be pretty benign by Scottish standards, maybe 20 miles per hour at its peak in terms of winds. That's not bad here. The winds are shifting south. That's an opposite wind, which means that the brutal back nine here at Royal Troon is going to be playing downwind instead of into it, and that's going to help them tremendously. But there's still a premium on accuracy off the tee for all of them. And right now, I just think Tiger's up against a lot of young guns that are hitting the ball a ton and playing very, very well. Basically, he's up against players that would approximate Tiger in his day. Nobody gets close to who he actually was, but you know what I'm saying in terms of the younger guys against the older.
So, man, because of the weather, I mean, the course, the greens, are they going to be fast? They're going to be slow? Are they going to have to be continuous with the wind, play against the wind, play with the wind? How is that going to factor in?
Yeah, to give the comparison that Tiger gave in his press conference, he called the greens slow. Now, that's a relative term. It's about 10.5, and 10.5 is going to be about the average green speed in most golf courses that you can play, say, in the United States that are like private golf courses. But PGA Tour players are used to playing greens that roll at, even the U.S. Open, you're talking about something like a 13 on the stick meter. So these will be slow by comparison to what they're used to. The winds, as I mentioned, are going to be coming from an opposite direction. So the front nine going out, and normally the first 3, 4 holes, 5 holes, 6 holes, if you please stretch it, are much easier than what you have coming back in. Well, those holes are going to play more difficult because of the direction of the wind, but they're not designed to be brutal like the back nine is in this golf course. Incredibly hard to finish on this golf course and hold a lead because of the nature of it. So I think you're going to see some pretty good scoring. Starting tomorrow, we're supposed to get some rain in the morning. So it sounds more like showers or misty rain coming off the sea. It's supposed to clear up by the afternoon. The temperatures are going to be somewhere hovering around 60. I saw one day light up to 4, and another will be in the high 50s. That's not bad weather for a Scottish summer. So overall, I think the weather is going to be cooperative to the players, and the greens, as I mentioned, are going to be a little bit slower. If we get any kind of substantial rain, which is not what I'm seeing in the forecast, but it can happen because we're in Scotland, all that's going to do is slow it down some more and make it more receptive. So I think by open standards, especially open standards of Scotland, we're going to see some good scoring.
Yeah, it may be the way. Look, last time we were watching the Open at Royal Troon, we know that Henrik went low. It was in the mid-teens, and I'm just guessing it's going to be a little more difficult this go-around, Matt, based on at least the way it's setting up weather-wise.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's setting because of the way it's setting up weather-wise. I would say the way that it's setting up, the way that they have the golf course set up. They have a lot of changes with the bunkers. The revetted bases of the bunkers is a little bit longer, only a couple hundred yards, but nonetheless longer than it was last time. But last time was also magical. You had Phil Mickelson opening with a 63. He had a putt to shoot a 62, which would have been at the time the lowest at a major championship. It lift out. And then in that final round, epic battle, it was just a heavyweight battle between Phil Mickelson and Henrik Stenson going head-to-head. One shoots a 63 and Henrik Stenson, that magic number there, and the other shoots a 65, and Stenson ends up walking away with it. Nobody was even close. Third place was 4 shots behind Henrik Stenson. That's how great those guys were playing. If Phil would have won any other Open that he played in with what his performance, he just ran into Henrik Stenson. It's just one of those magical Sundays. I was assigned to the group in front of them that year. I was with J.B. Holmes. I believe Bubba was the other player I was following. So I could hang back so I could see what was going on behind me because I'm doing radio. I can hear it in my head, but I knew what was happening. I knew it was history, and it was very cool to see the bits and pieces that I was able to kind of cobble together. But that could happen this time again. It's a relatively flat golf course as compared to some of the dunes that we see in the Rota, for example, like you see at, say, Royal Birkdale or you see at Muirfield. And I do think that the scoring is going to be favorable for the players, but I still think it comes down to the best ball strikers. If you go wayward, for example, you haven't heard mention, say, of Bryson DeChambeau yet, right? Mm-hmm. Bryson was very subdued in his press conference, the reigning U.S. Open champion, and right now he's the guy that everybody loves. But Bryson is wayward off the tee, and you can't be wayward off the tee at Royal Troon because, among other things, in that fescue rough, it actually fertilize it. So you're still going to have the brown, wispy little grass at the top when you look at it on TV. The grass underneath is really deep and really thick, it's very difficult to get out. And if it rains at all, that makes it even tougher because now you're going to get flyers out there, or you're just going to have to chop sideways.
So, Matt, with all that you just said as far as the greens and the wind and everything, give me a number come Sunday that'll keep you in contention.
I would say 12 under. That would be a very comfortable number. I believe that when it's all said and done, it could go deeper than that because of everything that I've described to you. But I have a feeling it's going to be 12 under. I do think they tried to toughen up the golf course, and I do think it's a reflection of what happened back in 2016. I don't think they want to see 63s to open, 63s to end at their golf course. And nobody ever liked that, but it's hard to protect against that when you're talking about the best of the best. So, yeah, I would say probably 12 under to win. I would think the cut line going to come in right around level par, maybe +1, -1, right in that frame there. But it should be very exciting because it's going to set itself up for that scoring that the good news is it doesn't appear as though, in the Open, there's always a discussion about the draw.
Mm-hmm.
Which side of the draw did you fall on? Did you fall on the side that was brutal and you couldn't do anything? And then on the other side was benign because the storm front came through? I don't see that happening either. I see it being pretty level throughout the day, save for that shower in the morning.
You can follow Matt Adams on X, Matt Adams, FOL, Fairways of Life, and we'll get you to tell everybody where they can find you if they are tuning in on the outlet that you're on tomorrow. But, Matt, real quick, all right? So 3 possibilities. Rory ends a decade of not winning a major. He's had 5 top 5s at the Open in the last decade, 54 under par in total. Okay, so that's one possibility. We have a repeat winner. You just mentioned Bryson, but a repeat major title holder, meaning Scotty, Bryson, or Xander would pop in. Or we get that, quote, best player not to have won a major to pop up and win?
Well, it comes down to when you take the field against the players that you just laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're talking about Rory and you're talking about Scotty, and Scotty's won 6 times. I was watching Scotty a lot today practice out there. I was particularly working on the short game. Scotty's only played in 3 former Opens, and in one of those 3, he had a top 8 finish. It's not a bad sampling at start. And remember, for 2 of those 3, he wasn't the Scotty Scheffler that he is now. So I do think it's very reasonable that Scotty Scheffler could win this thing, but because of the ball flight of Rory McIlroy, my sense is that it's going to be Rory. So the way you laid all that out, regardless of circumstance, my instinct is telling me that it's Rory over any other scenario.
Yeah, he has to crack that egg soon. Like you said, he's never been nervous before. He showed it a little bit Sunday at Pinehurst, which surprised the heck out of me. It really did. All right, so tell everybody where they can find you as you're calling the action.
Yeah, the coverage that I'm on, this is the world radio feed. So you're in North America. You guys are going to be able to hear it there in the Florida area on Sirius XM.
Mm-hmm.
And we start at 2 a.m. Eastern time for our live coverage. That's 10 a.m. Local time here, so 2 a.m. Eastern time here on Sirius XM. On the weekend, we start at 4 a.m. Eastern time. So 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, the television kicks off on Golf Channel at 4 a.m. And as you guys know, my show is the morning show on Golf Channel, and you can find Fairways of Life on YouTube or whatever.
All right, buddy. I appreciate your time. Have fun. Enjoy it. Soak it up, and it should be great.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Matt Adams at Matt Adams, FOL, Fairways of Life. You can definitely check him out on X. Look, I'm going to throw a couple more names at you coming up here in just a second, Big Sirs, because it's so fast. A different type of track, slower greens, big bounce. They don't put the sprinklers on hardly ever across the pond. So anyway, we'll touch on that coming up in just a bit. Speaking of Golf Club of Southampton, you can hit the 9 after 5 tonight. We say thanks to them always setting up a great game, food afterwards, prizes, you name it. You can call 287, play it on the tee sheet. This afternoon, come on out and join Joe C. as we have a little 9 after 5. We're going to head back to Dallas coming up in just a few.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Florida State. Subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel, up-to-the-minute updates, analysis, and more. Plant the spear and subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles channel today.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, when a customer goes to buy a diamond, how do they know what they are getting?
Frank, that's a good question because what they know comes from the assurances given by the seller, and they can only judge based on the knowledge and reputation of the selling store. Now, over the last 25 years, I've seen some customers misled, and unfortunately, Underwoods was the bearer of bad news too many times. In the 1980s, we saw diamonds brought in with exaggerated grades and no laboratory grading reports. Then in the 90s, we saw some of the poorest cut diamonds ever, even though they had laboratory reports on weight, color, and clarity. Then the American Gem Society opened a laboratory and started grading diamonds for cut, and poorly cut diamonds got priced for what they were. Now we see diamonds from the internet and other places where diamonds are bought sight unseen with a lab report and a bogus appraisal. Unfortunately, not all those diamonds match the reports they're sold with, but how would a customer know? Probably today more than ever, the truest statement is, if you don't know diamonds, you better know a jeweler you can trust.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5, fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after every Sunday game. JackShrimp.com. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
What is the perfect NFL quarterback passer rating? The answer coming up.
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The absolute perfect passer rating in a single game is 158.3.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 17, 1936, New York Giants future Hall of Fame pitcher Carl Hubble began his MLB record 24-game winning streak, beating the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-0.
You could win your share of over $450,000 in cash and prizes at the 5-star Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The fun starts July 13th with the inaugural kickoff beach tournament with a $50,000 cash first prize. There's a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the general offshore tournament winner takes home a 28T contender with twin 200 Yamahas. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and summer is here on the First Coast. You know, long days, short sleeves, and soaring temperatures that can do a number on your AC. If you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Hope is not a plan, so do what I did and plan ahead with an expert AC tune-up from Fenwick Home Services to avoid those costly summer breakdowns. Fenwick has you covered with same-day service, including maintenance plans, free same-day estimates, and guaranteed repairs. Book your expert tune-up today and avoid costly breakdowns tomorrow. Plan ahead instead of hoping for the best. Online at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com.
If you've played sports or still lead an active life, chances are joint pain is nothing new. This is Dr. George Barry of Barry Orthopedics, and we like to be your option when it comes to taking care of your body and getting back in the game. From shoulders to elbows to hip and knee pain, Barry Orthopedics can diagnose and treat a variety of injuries that are causing you pain. We are Barry Orthopedics and online at barryorthopedics.com. With more than 30 years of experience, our team is here to care for your entire family.
Find out more at barryorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Bringing the players and coaches of the SEC to you. SEC Media Days. Presented by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers on 1010XL.
All right, having a good time listening to all the dignitaries that have come through on XL Primetime on 1010XL, 92.5 FM for that matter, from noon until 6 o'clock. A ton coming out from the SEC Media Days in Dallas. And by the way, this is the same city that was hosting the All-Star game last night, the Home Run Derby the night before in Arlington. My man Shohei, holy cow, was that awesome. We'll touch on that before the day is done. But let's go back, Big Sirs. Before we get Matt to jump in, what did you think of Greg Sankey? That dude's impressive, man.
Well, you know what? Listen, I remember when I was a teenager, I wanted this members-only jacket, all right? Listening to Sankey made me understand the exclusivity of coming to the SEC. Yeah. He felt comfortable in his own skin. He said, listen, we're not going to get into litigations. We're good with 16. You know, we don't want any problems. We sit at the top of the mountaintop. I mean, he just felt comfortable with the position he was as the commissioner of the SEC, and there was no need to go out there and scramble about and bring this team or that team in because they're comfortable at 16.
Matt, when he mentioned that whole, we don't need any legal problems, Leon and I looked at each other. I'm like, he's basically saying FSU, that's going to be the reason. That's the check mark against you.
I've been telling you guys over and over that FSU's problem with not only the SEC but the Big Ten as well is they're not seen as being a good partner, okay?
I get it.
And if you listen and read the tea leaves, did you hear him when he said Georgia was one of the 4 best teams in the country? We all knew that. Mm-hmm. But you didn't see Georgia jumping up and down saying they got hosed or putting up a sign that says national champions when they really weren't. That's a direct shot at Florida State.
I get it. I totally get it. But let me at least come at you from a counter.
He's not alone in there. It's right. The Big Ten. Their presidents are the same way. They feel the exact same way. And FSU. And I wrote this story yesterday. I had a Big Ten source who said he didn't know who was advising FSU, but they're doing him a disservice. And that's really what it is I think they overplayed their hand, and I think they played it too early. That was the problem.
So, this is a dumb question, but at least let me come at it from a counter angle here. Because the Big Ten and the SEC are in positions of power. I think we would all agree on that.
Of course.
They bring in the most revenue. They've got the most eyeballs. They are in a position of power. Both of them can kind of wage a war against one another, and both can show strength. Meanwhile, the ACC, lacking in whatever you want to say, leadership, revenue, I don't even know. There's a number of different things that you could point to as a problem. So that particular conference, if you're in it, you feel like you're working from a disadvantage. And so what happens when you're working from a disadvantage? You become desperate, and you have to do something to make something else happen. And that's, I believe, why FSU and Clemson.
You're 100% right, and I 100% agree with Florida State's stance that it's untenable for them to be in the same state as Florida, where Florida's getting $80 million annually from media rights, and they're getting $40. I don't disagree with them at all, okay? I agree with it. All I'm saying is I think the way they went about it was a mistake. And I think they should have at some point thought, okay, what's going to be the most proactive and diligent way to do this without upsetting the apple cart? And they've done basically 180 degrees opposite of that. And you can't expect – listen, Joe, you cannot expect to sue – the ACC to get the contract, the television contract with ESPN, and think that ESPN's going to say, "Oh yeah, we'll be fine with the SEC adding you." And you also can't expect the Fox to think, "What are they going to do if they're a partner of the Big Ten then?" Like if you're willing to break up a league to get out of it to get your way, and do it publicly, and do it to the point where you're suing for specific contracts and stuff that are meant to be secret so no one can see them. Then what? Like, do you really think someone's going to welcome you in and say, "Oh yeah, this will be a great partner"? That's kind of what I'm saying. And I know FSU fans don't like to hear that. And I know they got some guy on Twitter who says he's this Big Ten guy and he's saying it's a guaranteed thing. It's not. It's not, okay? They are in a bad position right now. They are in a bad position unless the ACC completely implodes. Then they have a shot. If not, they are going to the Big 12 because they're not going back to the ACC.
So, man, what's the alternative? I mean, Florida State is a runaway. I mean, can they come back home? And should they come back home?
I think if the ACC was smart, they'd eat a little crow, and Florida State could eat a little crow, and they could work this out. Because honestly, while they're not going to get to $80 million with the ACC, even if they did get to the Big Ten, let's just say they did get there, okay, and the ACC implodes, they're not getting $80 million on year one. They're not getting it on year 2, year 3, year 4. My guess would be it's going to be year 5 or 6, like Washington and Oregon. Mm-hmm. They're not just going to give them that money. They don't want to share that type of money. And Fox isn't going to add that kind of money to the contract for Florida State because at that point, once the ACC is imploded, Florida State has no more leverage.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So they put themselves in a bad position right now.
Okay, and here's what I'm trying to wrestle with, and I know we don't need to spend every minute on this because it has dominated a lot of our offseason conversation. I would love to get to where we're talking ball again soon, but if it does implode, the Atlantic Coast Conference, then the biggest peaches, plums, however you want to describe it,
right?
They are FSU, Clemson, and North Carolina. Because streaming eyeballs, you don't need a local television footprint to say, hey, I need that market anymore. You don't. And the biggest attractive, let's just call them diamonds in the game.
Well, there's more than 3 then if that happens.
Florida
if it
State
implodes,
and North Carolina.
Right. If it implodes, I'd add Virginia to that. I'd add Miami to that, and I would probably add Georgia Tech because of the Atlanta market.
I don't care, but I'm talking about product, man. Product.
Right, but no, I agree with you. But my point is, if it implodes, then you're going to take more than 1 or 2.
Sure.
You might take 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm saying is that's where Florida State becomes more attractive than maybe people are suggesting right now. Is what I'm saying.
There's no doubt about that. But I will say this too. I actually got a text from an ACC source this morning. It was an ACC AD who said, "Don't forget, we have a grant of rights deal. It's through 2036. In other words,
you're still
the ACC's not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're still."
But they're not going anywhere. Even if Florida State gets out, they're not going anywhere.
And we keep going in a circle because we say if this one is able to at least jump ship, at least for a period of time, and then that fractures the conference and the conference becomes weaker, and then the other ones attack the conference, like it happened in the Pac-12, Leon.
Yeah.
Then maybe something could happen.
Well, man, let me ask you this question going forward with this season, where you got Miami, Florida State, and Clemson. Let's say both of these teams, these teams, all 3 make the playoffs. I mean, doesn't that make them a little bit more attractive?
Yeah.
It absolutely does, Leon. I don't think there's any question about that. We are a society of prisoners of the moment. There's no doubt about that. I mean, that's how Washington got in the Big Ten, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, I mean, if I were the ACC right now, honestly, and quite frankly, I haven't had anybody to confirm this for me yet, but I don't know how they couldn't be doing this. You've got to be talking to Clemson on the side saying, look, if FSU goes, just stay and we'll redistribute the wealth. We'll redistribute what we were paying them. We'll redistribute their exit fee, and it'll only go to you guys. It'll go to Clemson, it'll go to Virginia, it'll go to North Carolina, and it'll go to Miami, the 4 schools that are the biggest properties in the ACC, and the 4 schools that could leave and follow Florida State and then implode the ACC. Then you tell them, look, if we give you that money, you're going to be at 60, 62, 63 million, and if you have a good football team and you get to the playoff, you can make a lot more.
Yeah, and they would be smart to listen to that. That's for sure. All right, so we'll stay on that.
You would think so. It sounds like, you know what, Joe? It sounds like it's too right to be heard. You know what I mean?
It's too good to be true. Like, why aren't you listening to this deal?
Right.
Yeah. I know that if someone...
And the other ACC teams might get upset, Joe, but you know what you say to them? Do you want to be in a power league where you can make money from the playoff? If you do, pipe down and take what you get.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, but like we said, when you make half and you feel like you're on the same solid footing as your rivals inside the state and you make half of what they make, it eats at you. It deteriorates.
Yeah, NC State
and
won't
erodes
like
the
it,
program.
but the NC State's alternative is to go play in the American Conference.
Yeah.
So what would you rather do?
Exactly. No bueno. All right, we'll keep it going into the 3 o'clock hour. You guys caught up with Danny Wonderful, so we'll hear that conversation coming up in just a bit. It is XL Primetime, a golf club of Southampton Wednesday.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Home of the Jaguars fan.
To see the stadium packed tonight was awesome. One of the best game environments I've been in.
This is 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety. There is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Joe C. for Roland Reese Plumbing. I always tell you about how much, if you need a plumber, you want to have a plumber. And that is absolutely 100% true. When you have a leak and you can't wait a week, Roland Reese Plumbing is the name to know. But I also need to brag on them a little bit, all right? They've got full-service plumbing, drain cleaning. We're talking about small leaks, major issues. The slab leaks can be the worst. A whole house remodel. They can do all of that. And you know what else they'll do? They'll work with you. Free estimates, even over the phone. No hassle guarantees. They can take care of you. Just log on plumbingjacksonville.com and know you're going to get an experienced crew that will take care of you. Roland Reese Plumbing.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Let's go! It's Military Appreciation Night this Saturday, July 20th at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Join us for exciting football action and help salute and celebrate our military. As a thank you, all active and retired servicemen and women can get a special buy one, get one free ticket deal. And the first 1,000 fans will receive a free military rally towel. Ask about the new Family 4-packs. You get 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. Purchase yours today. Call 904-621-0700 for more information. Make sure to check out our special military jersey auction and player autograph session on the field after the game. Get photos with your favorite player or dancer.
Let's go!
Don't miss the fun this Saturday, July 20th. For tickets, visit jacksharks.com or call 621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
Let's go!
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents
Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler?
Aaron Burr.
Dueler?
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. Brought to you by PrimesMen'sMedical.com. Live from SEC Media Days, head coach of Georgia, Kirby Smart, spoke to media on his feelings towards the transfer portal and the lack of loyalty that comes with it.
No, I don't like it. I understand it. I don't like the fact. I worry we're going to look back 20, 30 years and there's going to be no allegiance. Like a kid's going to say, well, I don't have a group of friends. I don't have a loyalty to a school because I went to 3 schools. I went to 2 schools. But you know what? It's their life. They got to make that decision. I can only tell them the outlook that I have on staying in a place and the benefits from staying in a place that are going to last much longer than the gratification you get from chasing the grass is greener on the other side.
Stay updated with all your SEC Media Day coverage with 1010XL. It's 93 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's where football season starts. SEC Media Days, presented by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers on 1010XL.
Welcome back to our coverage from SEC Media Days. Frank Frangie along with Matt Hayes and an old friend, Danny Werfel, stops by. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Man, it's great to see you.
Yeah, here in Dallas for SEC. Who'd have thought?
Right? Yeah. I was telling Danny before we came on, Danny's thin and in shape. He's not like bodybuilder guy like Doring.
Like Doring, right?
Doring's got to work out 4 or 5 hours a day. I mean, he's got to be all he does, doesn't he?
He hits it hard. He's good. He's got a lot of irons in the fire, though.
Yeah,
he's a busy guy.
Tell us about what you've got in fire. We know all about certainly Desire Street, and congratulations. I mean that sincerely on the lives you've changed with that. I mean that very sincerely. I know that's where your heart is now. But tell us everything you got working these days.
Well, we've got a new exciting thing that's happening. You know, I've been helping to promote the Community Service Award, the Werfel Trophy, for 20 years.
Yep.
And, you know, I've been a big fan of what Allstate has done with the AFCA and the Good Works team. So they're kind of like an all-American team of Good Works, and we're kind of like the individual trophy. And today, we're so excited to announce that we're partnering together to create one program to really shine a light on all the young people that are doing great work in college football. The Allstate Werfel Trophy is what it's be called now, is going to be the captain of the Good Works team. And the Good Works team will be the semifinalists for the trophy. And so, you know, one of my dreams with this is to tell more and more of the stories of not just like the winner, but all of the guys that are doing great stuff, because it's really inspiring. You know, when I was a kid, my heroes, you know, you mimic what they do for good and bad. And if you can tell more stories of wonderful work that guys are doing.
Right.
So we're together with Allstate today announcing 178 nominees for the Good Works team. And that will be in September brought down to 22 players and coaches, and then the 11 FBS players will be the semifinalists for the Werfel Trophy.
Very
Danny,
cool.
It's such a cool award because, could you have imagined when it started that it would become a trophy? Like, these young dudes really want to win that trophy, right? Could you have imagined it would develop into that?
Yeah, well, that's exciting. Like, I have videos of people of me as a kid. I made a throw, and somebody, like, on the video says, oh, my gosh, he's going to win the Heisman one day. Like, you aspire to win a Heisman trophy or, a Bolitnikoff trophy or something. Those are things you can tangibly think of. But to think that there are people thinking about, there's an honor for doing something good for someone else. Like, that's a pretty cool mark to leave. So we're very excited about that. Yeah.
And it's what a great message to send too.
Yeah.
It's not just the person who wins the award. It's so many people, Danny, have now learned, or so part of their fabric now becomes how do I help somebody.
Yeah,
right? Isn't that the beauty of it?
That's the beauty.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. All right, let's talk a little football for a second. Yeah. How hard is it for you? I asked the ball coach this a lot. I'm going to ask you the same question. To see that Florida's had the struggles they've had. Obviously, you were in the golden age. You were the golden age. Is it hard for you now?
It is. You're used to this program being, one of the top, if not the top. You're used to seeing amazing play, and you see the Tebow years, the Urban Meyer following the Spurrier era, and so that's what you hope for. That's what you dream for. In some ways, that's what you expect. And so it is tough, but it's a new day. It's a new world. I am very encouraged with where we are right now in many ways. I think Coach Napier is really one of the best culture-building coaches I've been around. I just briefly stepped in the big room here behind us and heard him pay a tribute to Monty Kiffin. Mm-hmm. And, I just took a quote from him right there that I'm going to use forever. Like, inheritance is what you leave for someone. Legacy is what you leave in someone.
Interesting.
And, Coach Napier, I really believe, cares about developing young men, not just winning football games. So I appreciate that. However, you got to win football games. Right. I think they've done a great job on the recruiting trail. I think NIL's made it wonky for everybody in the past few years. But I think they're doing a great job. And then I think, really the on-field is where it's going to come down to. And we'll see if we can win enough games.
It's funny you said, because I've been saying this for a while now. I think there's so many people at Florida within this system, the university president, the AD, the faculty, everybody wants him to win so badly because he's such a good dude. And his idea of what it can be is what they want. But like you said, at the end of the day, if you're 11-14 after 2 seasons, that's a problem.
Yeah, the seat is warm, I think, as you would say, in those senses. But I do think he has the confidence. I think this is a big year for us. The schedule is not helpful. As anyone who follows football knows, it's perhaps one of the toughest schedules, not just this year, but ever maybe. That's arguable. But I think if we win 8 games this year, that'll be a really successful season, which is hard for Florida Gators to say out loud. But I also like being the underdog. I like that no one thinks much of us. I like that we're kind of written off a little bit. Everybody's talking about all these teams and the new teams that are coming in. So I think it puts us in a unique spot. I love our quarterback situation. Our whole team is deeper, bigger, faster than they were even a year ago. So there's a lot of things that have me very optimistic.
Tell me about Graham Mertz. What do you like about him?
So first of all, to me, he's a little bit like a relic of the days of the past. He started playing football before there was NIL.
Right.
And you can feel that around him. That, even though he transferred, there's also a deep care and passion for the university, which is often not there in players these days. I think, he's, you use the word a true professional in the way he prepares, the way he carries himself, the way he embraces as a team leader. I think he's got all the tools to be amazing. He had an amazing year. I expect another great year. And I think it's an incredible opportunity for DJ Lagway to experience a year with Graham Mertz. DJ, I'm assuming, will play some sparingly, a.k.a. Chris Leak and Tim Tebow one year.
Right.
But I think, when I think about where DJ Lagway will be next year, I think it'll be light years ahead of where he would be had he not had a Graham Mertz to help guide him along the way.
So I agree with you on Graham Mertz. I think he played a lot better than anyone could have imagined. But he doesn't have Ike. He doesn't have Quez. He doesn't have Riedel. That's, I think, going to be a problem. I think Trey Wilson can be a very good player, but that's an area of issue for them, right? The wide receivers?
Yeah, I think so. We brought in another one this year that I think late that's going to be very, very helpful as well. I think I may be a little bit biased, but he also, doesn't have Steve Spurrier.
Right.
And
that too.
I mean, he was just such a ahead of his times in what he was doing there. But I do think that in the third year with Napier, I think so much of his concept for football, it really revolves around the lineman and being able to run the ball. And once that can happen, there's a lot of other things that can happen. Right. And that's just, it's not been as effective or consistent as we needed it to be. And I think this year is going to be different.
Danny, let me ask you this. The Alabama, will people tell you, the great years of Bear Bryant were unbelievable, but man, they made everything hard after. They just really did. When you won 4 SEC titles, a national title, played in a national title game, and won a Heisman Trophy in 4 freaking years. That's astounding. And in all of Steve's 12 years, Urban came along and won 2 titles in 3 years. I almost think the bar is so high. Now, and this isn't just a Florida thing. I'm using Florida as an example because we're all kind of Florida people. But the bar is so high in the expectation, it almost makes it not impossible, but really hard to reach for the next generation and generation. Do you see it that way?
I do. I mean, I think the greatest thing Spurrier and Urban Meyer did for Florida was what they did by bringing in these championships. The worst thing they did for Florida was they brought on this level of success that is almost unparalleled. I was thinking the other day, in my 4 years at Florida, we lost 2 SEC games, both to Auburn.
2.
So we never lost to Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia, name any of them. Like, we never lost in 4 years. And, that was the world we lived in. Well, I mean, that's not the real world these days. And so I think that the expectations, you see that on these signs or on these little things. It's if you don't manage expectations, you're not going to be real happy in life, and it's tough. So I do credit Spurrier and Urban, and we blame them a little bit.
Danny Werfel, our guest, congratulations on what you're doing. Tell people one more time, you've announced today, and it's sort of an extension of the Werfel Award.
Yeah, it is. That the Werfel Foundation's partner with Allstate and AFCA to really combine the programs of the Good Works team and the Werfel Trophy into one synergized program where we're going to promote each other's work all year and really do that together and really make a difference in the world by honoring community service and college football players. So very excited about it.
And encouraging people to do good things and help people. Danny, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Danny.
Danny Werfel, the national championship and Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
He never stops doing that type of stuff. You had your first golf tournament this past, what was it? When did we do
about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago, where you're going to have scholarships for kids locally that are going to go to FAMU and study business in your mom's name, which is great. But Werfel, man, he's been living that either Desire Street or, as he said now, with the Werfel Award, just trying to help as many people as possible.
Well, I mean, it's ingrained. It's ingrained in him. All right, so it's natural for him to help. It's not stressful. It's not out of the ordinary. He's been doing this for so long. Yeah. Probably before he even got to Florida. That starts at home. That starts with a good foundation at home.
Yeah.
That teach you that life is a lot more than about yourself. It's about how you influence and affect others along the way.
Yeah.
And he just took that, what he learned, and he just manufactured it into where he is right now.
Now, I would love to have seen you two guys play together, but you heard what he had to say about Florida, Miami, how big this game is.
Yeah, it's a big game. I mean, and it was a very interesting thing he was talking about is the fact that he blamed Spurrier and Urban Meyer for the fact that they went the hell with that, man. Y'all earned those victories. I remember the fun and gun back in the day with Steve Spurrier and all the. I didn't know that. Man, I looked at his stats when he was at Florida. You talking about over 10,000 yards, 114 touchdowns, bro. Yeah. Are you serious?
And the way it was is that Spurrier came in with such an exciting offense that kind of turned the SEC defense on its ear. And it was fun gun, and they were stretching and stressing. And basically, Spurrier's idea was to throw it where they ain't. And basically in baseball, you try to hit where they ain't. And so the speed of the receivers, the way they ran the routes, and they'd throw them open. And then obviously, once he got that going, then he could hand it off to Freddie or whomever, Eric Rett, to start off with. And we've had great conversation with him.
It was another interesting thing Danny was saying that Steve Spurrier before, because he could schematic defensively with the route running and the receivers. He could dissect the defense. Just think if he played in this era where you can't touch the receivers, you can't touch the quarterbacks. It's no telling how many points he would put up.
It is true. And it's so funny because the lack of those types of throwers, because Danny had some sick numbers, Rex Grossman had some really sick numbers, and then little by little, he started losing a little bit of that talented pocket passer, and high school started going to spread. We all know what happened after that.
Yeah.
Then the spread started to take over with the RPO.
Here's the thing, that's the same position. I mean, we feel, in some way, we feel sorry for the kids that play today because the bar that we set so high when we play. The hell with that. You just got to climb the ladder.
Well,
I'm not lowering the bar, bro. I refuse to lower the bar.
I'm with you because you set a standard, and so did the Wolves of the world that Tebow and those guys try to follow, because winning is fun. It's what people grow to expect, and if you don't deliver, they're going to be disappointed. And that's as simple as it gets. So we're going to talk about a little bit about Florida. Billy Napier's making his rounds. He's been in the big room. Leon Searcy show at 5 o'clock this afternoon. He's scheduled to jump on with Frank and Matt there. So we'll keep it going. XL Primetime, Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday. Don't forget, you can get on T-Sheet 287 play. We got a good night of weather. Yeah, it's a little hot, but come on out, have a cold one, and enjoy a round of golf. 9-hole game, a little food afterwards and surprises. It's all part of the 9 after 5 with XL Primetime.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealers Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
I'm Brett Musburger on the heartbeat of the First Coast, 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Buy a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla for just $1,000 down and $288 per month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $1,000 down and $388 per month. Arlington Pre-Owned has over 400 used cars in stock and more than 100 vehicles under $18K. And you even get 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. Shop the Big One sales event, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Summer is here, which means it's time for road trips and family vacations. Frank Frangie here. Before you hit the road, make sure your car can handle the heat with a visit to Big Chief Tire. Their expert technicians will ensure your vehicle can handle the summer heat. From tire checks to AC services. Avoid the stress of a breakdown and travel with confidence. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your summer checkup today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
This is big-time ball season.
1010XL takes you to SEC Football Media Days.
They'll have something unique to bring to the game.
Players, coaches, college football insiders. Brought to you by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers.
I love this game. I live this game.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Ready to drive away with a fortune? Join us at Best Bet St. Augustine for our Fairways to Fortune giveaway. Over $30,000 in prizes are up for grabs, including a top-of-the-line 6-seater golf cart. Join us July 27th at Best Bet St. Augustine for the big giveaway and hourly cash drawings. Come play and win big at Best Bet St. Augustine, located on State Road 207, seconds away from the I-95 exit. Visit bestbetjax.com for details. That's bestbetjax.com, and we'll see you in St. Augustine.
Want a one-stop shop when it comes to commercial or residential construction? Then pick Preferred Builders. They should be high on your list. Over 70 years of construction experience combined with exceptional product and service warranties. They've got a team ready to tackle any size project. In fact, they built their business in Duval by offering superior work at reasonable prices, and reputation over time means something. Honest and knowledgeable, reliable and responsive. Be sure and put Preferred Builders into your game plan for your next construction project. That's Preferred Builders.
Hey, Matt Hayes here with Mike Dempsey, both continuing to reap the benefits of losing weight with Awaken 180. For me, it starts with sleep. That's right, a full night's sleep every night. Another thing, I haven't been sick in months. No colds, no sinus infections. Mike?
Same thing here. My added bonus is I've lost a few more pounds in free maintenance. Crazy to think the weight not only stayed off since last September, but I don't even think about it anymore. With Awaken 180, keeping it off becomes second nature. I've had my cheat days, I have my cheat meals, but it's not really cheating when the results stay the same.
Awaken 180 isn't just about losing weight. It's about enhancing your life, better sleep, better health, and for me, enjoying golf and swimming without joint pain.
When you're not carrying around 40 extra pounds, your joints surely thank you. Have your joints, your heart, and your scale thanking you too, and do what we did online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Beard's Diamonds' incredible Christmas in July sale is back.
Everything store-wide is on sale up to an unbelievable 40% off.
But it's only happening till July 31st.
Don't shop anywhere until you shop Beard's Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center.
If the Florida heat is getting you down and you're sweating up a storm, fire up a phone call to Florida Home AC and order an AC tune-up. It's the best way to beat the heat and keep your AC unit working at peak performance. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for their tune-up special and make sure you're primed for the peak of that heat. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just a phone call away at 777-4300. Order that tune-up today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is SEC College Football. SEC Media Days. Presented by Underwood Jewelers and Southern Steer Butcher on 1010XL.
All right, we are hanging out, getting close to the Frangie show. A bunch of stuff coming out of D-Town. It's always bigger in Texas, Leon. At least that's what they like to say. You could have been a Dallas Cowboy first-round pick.
I would have been. Yeah, but still stole the show.
Yeah.
It was in my house. Cowboys in my house. Draft day.
They took you 11th.
Cowboys had the 17th pick. The Steelers had me at the 11th pick.
So you would have been.
They stole me away.
Yeah.
No regrets, though. No regrets.
Yeah. Matt, by the way, the scene last night in Arlington at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I mentioned it earlier. Now, but let's just make this the 10-10 take, and then I swear we'll get back to college football because we got some stuff to throw at you.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmaster since 68.
Sonny's Barbecue, if you're getting hungry right now, they're cooking right now. That means ribs, chicken, pork, turkey, brisket, you name it. They have got it along with all those tremendous sides, and you can just drive right on up, curbside pickup. They can deliver it. You can dine in, whatever you want. But don't worry about cooking. Just head on over to your area Sonny's. I was going to make the 10-10 take, guys, about the fact that Florida has not had a winning season since 2020. But I'm going to set that aside for right now. Last night, it was really cool that the All-Star game on Fox, they mic'd up different players at different times. They probably had them all mic'd up. But anyway, they went through a series where they were talking to the Philadelphia Philly All-Stars, all of them infield stars, so they had them all kind of interacting. It was great. And then they went to the outfield with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge the next half inning. And so you're talking about a couple Yankees, one playing right, one playing center. And they're talking about Shohei as he comes to the to at bat. He gets in the batter's box, and Aaron Judge is talking about how great he is, and then he takes a swing, and the ball leaves the yard. It was just such an electric, really cool moment, and I love that Shohei Ohtani is an L.A. Dodger. That is the 10-10 take, because Matt, I don't know if you saw this, but I know there were a handful.
Joe, let me just tell you this, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Frank Frangie in to answer that question, okay? Frank, hit it.
Hey, Joe, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
All right?
Did you go? Did you go?
I didn't go to the game. You got time for a story?
Yeah.
So I'm going to share a little story with you. So we're at a sports bar. That part of the story doesn't surprise you.
No.
Having a beer. That part of the story probably doesn't surprise you. I'm going to get the ones out of the way you probably knew. So I'm sitting there with baseball authority Matthew Hayes. Okay. Okay. Mr. Baseball, they call him. All right. We're sitting there, and it's 2-0 to Shohei. 2-0 count.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Baseball guy Matt Hayes looks at me and goes, "All right, hitter's pitch." He goes, "All right, 2-0 hitter's pitch. It's about to be 3-0."
I say he's going to hang one. It's going to be 3-0.
He said it's about to be 3-0. It's exactly word for word. I'm not making. It's God is my witness. He goes, 2-0 count. It's a hitter's count. He's going to hang one. It's about to be 3-0. The next pitch, bang. So I had to listen to baseball authority all night, Joe. Tell me all about baseball.
Okay, JoJo?
That really happened.
That's beautiful.
Okay?
I love it.
It pains me to tell you that story, Joe, so you know.
I love it.
Hayes called. I mean, 1 split second before the pitch, Matt Hayes called the 3-run bomb.
And you guys make fun of me about my baseball knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Between Matt Hayes and Hayes Carline baseball knowledge.
Yeah. After that, I was having to explain the rules to him, how many runs it counts for, and all that. So,
but Frank, real quick, it was so damn electric to hear it. Because you guys were in the watering hole, so you probably didn't necessarily have the sound turned up. But
we did not.
Listening to Soto look at Aaron Judge as both of them were talking about Shohei, and then it just leaves the yard.
See, that's really cool because we did. You're right, Joe. We didn't have the sound on,
but we saw it.
We saw them look at. We saw the shots of them
and laughing.
But we were laughing, but we didn't know what they were saying. So it was pretty amazing. I really did think about going, but it was a long travel day, and because it was about 20, 30 minutes, and so I thought about going. But I also, and you probably know this, Joe. I thought about it in the air. I know I told Matt this. I just saw Skeens pitch in Pittsburgh about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was in about 2 or 3 rows back. So I really had a good look. So I'd already seen it in person. But we didn't go. But that Matt Hayes, I want him to be referred to on Prime Time now as baseball expert, Joe, okay? That's what I expect.
Next thing you know, he'll be a Dodger fan. Come on, Matt.
Right.
You'll recruit him in.
Exactly.
How about that, sirs? Huh?
Sounds good, bro.
Called it, bro.
All right. I'm out. That's all I got for you. I hated telling that story, so y'all know. See ya.
Yeah. And listen,
when it happened, Frank goes, I'm going to have to tell that story. And I said, yeah. Maybe on Prime Time, too.
That's exactly what you're saying. You better tell that story.
Right.
All right, so let me get to the other thing that was a 10-10 take, Leon, and then Matt jump in. Florida has not had a winning season since 2020. This is not a news flash. This is not a that just happened. This has been happening for a while, and Billy better fix it. And honestly, you start to look at it, and you're like, it's been since Mullen since they've had a winning season.
Yeah, that's a long time, bro. That is actually a long time, but he has another opportunity. I mean, he has another opportunity. You heard Danny Warford. He said that he likes Billy Napier because he changes the culture. I don't know what culture that is, but if it has to be the culture of winning football games. I like the fact that he said that he develops men, but those men are responsible for winning ball games. That's what So I mean, you can have a culture all you want, but if it's not a culture of winning, then why are you in the business of football, head coaching the football?
I always like to say, Matt, that Jimmy developed Leon Searcy, and Dennis, the substitute teacher, helped with that. He developed a man, but he also developed a first-rounder. You can do both. It is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it is. There are people that do it all the time right now. I mean, and like I told, Danny this, and Danny knows this, and I've been saying it for a while. Everybody there desperately wants him to succeed. The president, the AD, the faculty rep, they all desperately want him to succeed. But at the end of the day, it's a results-oriented business, and they're 11-14 in 2 seasons, and if they have another losing season, it'll be the first time since the 1930s, that they've had 4 straight losing seasons. So that's a difficult road to hoe if you're talking about keeping a guy for a 4th year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I saw the number up there as he was making the rounds, and I know that he'll be on with Frank and you in the 5 o'clock hour. But it said it's exciting that Florida is returning 70% of their offensive production. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's good and bad because they didn't score enough points and they gave up a ton of points. And so what they are bringing back, meaning Graham Mertz, meaning Montrell Johnson, Trey Wilson, Eugene, I think is going to be a superstar. They need to flat out produce, Matt. They need to score at a quicker clip. They need to be more profitable once they cross midfield instead of working against themselves, which it seems like they did too much of that last year.
Yeah, I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but I don't think offense is going to be a problem for them this year. I think by the end of last year, before Mertz got hurt, they had it figured out. It's defense, man. It is defense. They've been, we say this all the time, historically bad the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And one of those years, obviously, was the Mullen year. So that's really what it's about. I mean, you got to tackle people. You got to take good angles. You got to go after the ball. You got to create turnovers. They did none of that. They didn't run. They don't run to the ball. You know what I mean? Like it looks, and this is like the entire program. It's operationally a mess. And if you're looking over the sideline to get the play call, as they're snapping the ball, that's a problem. And so I see things like that, and I think, okay, at the very least, it's got to be operationally better. And if it is, that's a good sign. But even like Danny Werfel said, yeah, I think if they win 8 games, that's a good step. And then he caught himself. And I know you guys saw this, and he said, boy, and that's 8 games. He's like, boy, 8 games is now the thing now at Florida. Which he caught himself and realized, what am I talking about? Right.
Exactly. So that goes back to Leon's point.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, what would be your impression? I mean, this team has had 7 months to get ready for Miami. If they're operationally a mess the Saturday of August 31st, I mean, what could you factor in for Billy Napier?
That's bad news for him. That's bad. If they do the same thing they did at Utah last year when they spent 9 months to play like they did, and that was probably their worst game last year. If they do that, wow, that's going to be a bad sign for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you can't take those mistakes off your list because it was the first half of last year. No. It's still the product. And, yeah, they might have been catching a little wind in the second, maybe the last third of the season, let's say, before Mertz got hurt. But you guys know as well as anybody covering the game, playing the game, is that Mario and Billy have to show significant steps forward or the heat will be tremendous. You can't – I'm still amazed at how patient the fan base of Florida is right now. It blows my mind that, everyone is rooting for Billy.
I think they've been shell-shocked, actually.
Yeah,
I honestly
probably.
think they've been shell-shocked by the last 3 years. So it's like they don't know what to think. I will say this. It's even more pressure that it's in Gainesville. It's even more pressure that it's Miami.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Utah at home. It's not, whoever, USF at home. It's a big rival at home in a make-or-break season.
Yeah.
And, again, we've been saying this for now 3 months. That is a gigantic game for him. Yeah. Gigantic.
Not only for him, but Mario as well. I know y'all putting all the pressure on Billy Napier.
Yeah.
But Mario, I mean, if he goes there and lays an egg in the swamp, bro, I mean, bro, we're going to be on him like why don't Rice on the paper plate in the snowstorm. I'll tell you that
Let
right
me just
now.
tell you this.
The alumni
we ought to,
be
you
on
know
it,
what we
bro.
ought to do? We ought to sell our text string. We get a sponsor and sell our text string for that day because the three of us and JJ, we'll put JJ on that. It'll be wow.
It'll be rich.
That will be interesting.
That's for sure. But the stakes are going to get higher and higher, as we have all said. End of August, and we are closing in on it's 50 days until the NFL kicks it off, and even sooner when the college football game kicks off. But that Aug 31 is going to be major must-see for Gator fan and for Hurricane fan. That's for sure. It's XL Primetime. We'll keep it going right here. And then the 4 o'clock hour, the Francis Show will take over with plenty more coming from the SEC kickoff in Dallas.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
You have heard about the 1010XL YouTube channel. Now check out our team-specific channels, 1010XL Jaguars, 1010XL Gators, and 1010XL Seminoles, bringing up specific, up-to-the-minute video coverage of your favorite local team. And find us on YouTube today.
Do the Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle, Wiggle Wiggle, Garber Wiggle.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. One of the most popular July releases is Topps Chrome Baseball. Hitting shelves today, look for unique inserts and colorful parallels. Enjoy some Topps Chrome Baseball during All-Star Week. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy three or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 17, 1936, New York Giants future Hall of Fame pitcher Carl Hubble began his MLB record 24-game winning streak, beating the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-0.
Hey sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin, just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
Hun, the drain really smells.
Yeah, wow, it does.
I think it's getting backed up. What should we do? Did you just quack like a duck?
Yes, I did.
Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Need help with a plumbing issue at your home or business? Just call the Duck.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Gators, Bulldogs, and every SEC team. It's SEC Media Days. Presented by Window World of Northeast Florida and Kanaya Water Jacksonville on 1010XL.
You talk about the Florida Gators and what we were just talking about, FSU. In the ACC, ran the table and did not get that respect card played the way that they had hoped. And in large part, we all know because of the injury to Jordan Travis, and it's still kind of in their craw. But at the very least, they clawed their way back to respect over the last couple of seasons, winning 10 games, winning the big bowl game, a New Year's Day 6 bowl, excuse me, and then obviously going undefeated, heading into after winning the ACC championship and heading into the college football playoff, which they were denied.
Well, here's another thing that hurt Florida State, to be quite honest with you. With the ACC, the teams that they played against were underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
The Miamis, the North Carolinas, the Clemsons of the world didn't hold serve. If they had held serve and played to their potential, those Florida State wins, when they beat those teams right there, will look a lot more impressive on their resume moving forward. So,
very, very true. And when you think of the Louisville product that they played in the ACC championship game, it did not look that good.
Didn't.
And so that definitely had something to do with it as well. So Florida has to try and claw their way back to respect, some level of respect, which is what Florida State and Mike Norvell did over a 2-year period. Mario, you could say the exact same thing. They have to claw their way back. But when they are 59th in points per game, it's hard to believe how many points are given up in college football these days, Leon. I don't remember exactly what the average score was when you were playing, but when you're scoring over 4 touchdowns a game and you're 59th in points, something's wrong. But the very simple fact was they were 78th in defense, basically giving up 28 points, 4 scores a game. That's got to stop.
Well, you know what's very interesting, because I actually held this stat in my notes when I was at the University of Miami. In 1989, our defense, you know how many points they gave up a game?
How many?
9.3.
Are you kidding?
I'm looking at an 89 defense. Their scoring defense, they gave up 9.3 points a game. And total defense, they gave up 216.5 yards. Only gave up 69 yards rushing and 147 yards passing. That was our 1989 team that we won the national championship.
That's pretty strong.
9.3 points a game.
That's pretty strong. Now, I'd have to go back and look at some of the numbers to see which of these teams stack up. Georgia, stacked up at the top in terms of the points they score and the points that they give up. They don't give up a lot, and they score a bunch. So I'm just guessing they're probably top 10 in both categories, or very close anyway. The Texas Longhorns last year, they were 15th in points when they scored nearly 36 a game, and they were 15th in points given up. Their defense only gave up 19 points per game. So
Not bad. That's pretty good. That's solid.
Especially for the Big 12, because you know that they generally give up a lot defensively in the Big 12. We've seen a lot of ping-pong, pinball type of games in the Big 12, but Texas was pretty tight on that side of the football. So we'll see whether they can do that when they head into the SEC. But there's no question that the defense and how deplorable it was for Florida has 100% got to be fixed if Billy has any chance of saving his job. You're not going to look that pathetic on one side of the ball heading for another year and expect to keep your job.
So, what number would make you happy? 24? 20 between 2024?
Yeah, something like that. You cannot keep giving up 4 scores a game.
Yeah.
And I know the college football game right now is wired to be basically a what?
Aerial assault.
A 35-31 final. Yes. I do understand that. But at the same time, when you take a look at what the bigs have done in terms of handling their business on the defensive side of the ball, you can still have a situation where you can score people, but you better be able to button it up on the defense when you need to.
Well, that all comes to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The line of scrimmage, the offensive line, defensive line, your ability to control either way. And the Georgians of the world, that's what they do. They control the line of scrimmages.
Yeah.
And if you can build it from the inside out, I know this seems cliche to say, but most of the teams that are having this success winning, the offensive line, defensive lines are solid. They can run protect, they can pass protect, they can get after the pass, and they can stop the run. That's what boils down to. It's not hard. It's hard.
No. And if you can fix that side, like we have said, this will be a great experiment during the season to find out whether whatever Billy says is real. If it means something, you can preach something, but you've got to deliver on what you're selling. You got to have goods to go along with that promise. And he's said consistently through this offseason that he likes where his team is. He likes what the work that they put in. Look, it's all good to say, but you got to deliver.
Well, I always say this, Jim. I said, our coaches got to be believable day one. When he walks in that team meeting room, he's got to have the charisma, the sachet. He's got to have the believability that whatever we're putting you through right now, as far as the regimen of working out and conditioning, all this is going to pay off in wins and not losses. But if you're doing all that and you're not winning football games, those kids have a tendency to turn you off because they don't see the effects of all the hard work when you're losing football games.
Turn you off, tune you out. That's exactly what they will do. I did get a kick out of one of our texts when I said that Florida State, had built it back up. And they texted the Cheez-It Bowl. It's not New Year's Six Bowl. I was talking about last year. I understand. I totally get it. But when they did beat Oklahoma, that was still a fairly impressive win. I totally get what you're saying. But they had to sing me with the Cheez-It.
I love Cheez-Its. What the hell's wrong with Cheez-Its, too?
But, yeah, they won that one 35-32. And that was Oklahoma after Brent Venables' squad had kind of been embarrassed. And almost came back to beat them.
Wasn't that a 500 Oklahoma team? Were they 6-6 or something like that?
They were right there.
Oh, man. And that's not too impressive.
I'd have to go back and look and see exactly where Oklahoma was that year. Matt, I don't know if you remember this 2 years ago. It sounds like they might have been a 6-6 team or maybe a 7-6.
They were 6-6 and they lost to Florida State in the bowl game.
Yeah, so 6-7. Okay, yeah. So anyway, the Cheez-It Bowl, that cracked me up. Yeah, which is what it was.
But now it's the Pop-Tart Bowl, isn't it? Isn't that what it is now?
I don't even.
They have their mascot was like a huge real Pop-Tart.
I know.
Am I wrong in that?
Yeah, I can't.
Does that sound right, Mia? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I cannot keep track of them. I cannot.
Yeah, I think it was like a real Pop-Tart that the guys are like taking bites out of.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with
No, I'm with you, bro. No, especially if it's strawberry.
Exactly.
All right, listen, real quick. You've got to set up what you think is coming down the pike on the Frangie Show because I know you'll still be hanging out and doing stuff, and then what we can expect tomorrow. But first, let's do this.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Well, my take today is Sankey. Sankey was cool as the other side of the pillow. He said, listen, we're comfortable with the ACC. We're not looking for any more partakers. We got our money good. We got our place good. We don't want to get no litigations. In other words, hey, my name is Bennett, and I ain't in it.
Matt, what do you got?
My takeaway is coming up on the Frangie Show. We got Billy Napier live. It's going to be the only interview he does on Radio Row, by the way. And then we also have the Florida players, Graham Mertz, Shamar James, the town linebacker, and Montrell Johnson, the tailback. Should have all four of them. And maybe Steve Sarkisian. We're kind of, what's the word they use now, Joe? Efforting? We're efforting.
Oh, yeah, we're efforting. We're efforting. Yeah. We'll see if we can make it happen. My takeaway is very simple. If you start to miss Mullen more than you wanted to see him go because they haven't had a winning season since Dan Mullen, then that's where Florida's at. And Danny Werfel, as you pointed out, Leon, he started to say 8-4 and then he had to pause. He's like, is that where we are? And so simple as that. And Florida fans, you won't necessarily see what the product looks like until we get to that Miami game. But
Joe, that pause was painful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My gosh, that was painful, man. The look on his face, too. If you're watching on YouTube, he was kind of like, did I just say what I think I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
And I'm trying to remember the exact time it was when Florida's offense was fumbling and stumbling. And we're going back in time, but it might have been Will Muschamp. I'm just trying to remember. Anyway, we had Kerwin Bell on the show. And Kerwin said, these 14-7 games or 14-10 games or whatever, it takes me back to when I was playing in the 80s. You can't do that. You cannot do that. No. You have to score and score at will. Is that not the game we're in, Matt?
Yes, it's a vertical passing game. You got to score points, period.
And rules are made for you to succeed on that side of the ball. Rules rules, we have to follow them as well because we are done. And we also have a giveaway. So real quick, let me say thanks to the Golf Club of Southampton. And the 9 after 5 is just waiting for you. A little after 5 o'clock this afternoon, you can head on out to the Golf Club of Southampton on 210. You can get in the 9-hole game. We got prizes afterwards, some food. You'll always enjoy it. And then any other time, you can head on out and enjoy a round of golf. Foursome. If you want to plan a tournament, if you want to become a member, they got all sorts of offerings for you. And don't forget Friday nights on the patio with music and great food. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton. All right, RJ, before we send it off to the Frangie Show, set them up with something fun.
Absolutely. I got a pair of voucher tickets to the Jumbo Shrimp at 121 Financial Ballpark. Be caller number 1, 641-1010, and enjoy some Jumbo Shrimp baseball.
Everyone wants to doubt Jacksonville.